closing out the year with a huge accolade. The pop star superstar won Time Magazine's 2023 Person of the Year this month because, according to Time, quote, "No one else on the planet today can move so many people so well. Achieving this feat is something we often chalk up to the alignments of planets and fates, but giving too much credit to the stars ignores her skill and her power." Swift's Eras Tour grossed $2.2 billion in North American ticket sales alone. And our concert film's opening weekend raked in $96 million at the box office in the U.S. and Canada. That is the highest grossing concert film domestically ever for an opening weekend.
And it's worth pointing out, she's not alone in helping boost the U.S. economy this year. She joins a list of powerful women making significant contributions. They include, of course, Beyoncé. A documentary about her record-breaking world tour, Renaissance, topped the box office earlier this month with $21 million in its opening weekend.
And this summer's Greta Gerwig's Barbie became the highest-grossing movie of 2023. That was back in August, with a domestic haul of over $570 million at the time. Joining us now, CNN economics commentator and Washington Post opinion columnist Catherine Rampell and CNN business correspondent Rahel Solomon. Thank you for being here. Rahel, let me start with you. What a year. Obviously, Taylor Swift, Beyoncé, so many other women boosting this economy.
Yeah, I mean, really boosting consumer spending at a time when we thought that consumer spending would actually start to fall. So what you have to understand, Papa, you did a good job going over some of the numbers there, is these women have monumental fan bases. And these women and the men who support them are spending a lot of money. Colorado, for its part, said that it expected Taylor Swift and her tour to pump $140 million into the Colorado GDP. On average, they expected the average Swiftie who was attending to spend about $1,300. And what you have to remember is we're not just talking about...
Per person.
That's
more than rent.
For some
many
people,
times over.
Not in New York, but yes, for sure. But what you have to remember is we're not just talking about the ticket sales, but we're talking about the flight to perhaps get to Denver, Colorado, or to Philadelphia. The Philadelphia Fed, by the way, has talked about Taylor Swift and the impact on the hotel occupancy. Also, the apparel. I mean, you got to look good once you go to see these ladies in concert. So they are huge, monumental businesses.
Of this.
You know, Catherine, to that point, it felt like at various points of the year, even economists would say these 1, 2, or 3 extraordinary women were lifting up the economies of various places on their own. Is that an overstatement, or is that actually close to accurate?
I think at least in the near term, yeah, it had a big impact on local economies. As Rahel just pointed out, it meant higher sales for hotels, for example, lots of other kinds of local spending, any other kind of hospitality, restaurants, local transit, that sort of thing. So yeah, these amazing women not only generated likely billions of dollars for themselves and for the people who worked on their respective tours or other kinds of artistic projects, but also had some knock-on effects for the local economies that were hosting them.
There were even countries, I was just looking it up. Remember when we were talking about, I think it was Sweden and Beyonce, right, Rahel? Right?
I remember.
Beyonce and
blaming
Beyonce
for the inflation. Yes.
Come on. You had a really interesting piece, Catherine, about the she-covery 2023.
Yes. So 2023 was the year of the working woman. Not just famous women like the ones we've been talking about, but regular rank-and-file white-collar women around the United States whose numbers have hit record highs in terms of the share of traditionally working-age people who are employed. You may remember that a couple of years ago, there were all of these stories about the fear of the she-cession, that the pandemic was disproportionately going to hurt women and did seem to hurt women, particularly those who had young children, and that they might be knocked off their career trajectories for, if not forever, for a very long time, that there would be these scarring effects. Instead, the exact opposite has happened. Working women have come back with a fierce, almost like revengeful level of success, that they are contributing financially to their households. They are somehow managing to make work and family commitments work out. And I don't know if I would go so far as to say women are finally having it all, but they're really punching above their weight. If we manage to avoid a recession next year, as many had feared not too long ago, it will be because of America's working women, again, powering this economy.
You know, Rahel, to that point, can this be maintained I know Taylor Swift and Beyonce are touring for like ever, and I have no idea how they're doing that. They're absolute machines. But their success, the success that Catherine was just talking about, can this hold over a longer period of time?
You know, it's an interesting point. I think at least for the time being, because now you think about at least Beyonce having the documentary in movies, which is boosting sort of movie ticket sales, right? So I think certainly as long as they are offering a product, Beyonce is also now selling perfume, right? In addition to her production company, in addition to her Ivy Park line. I mean, there is always a way you can sort of cash in on being a Beyonce fan, and I assume the same with Taylor Swift.
How have I made it through this year of going to neither of those?
Especially when you know that I've been to the Beyonce concert.
Multiple times.
Totally true, Phil.
You still have time.
Best husband.
She's on tour she's on tour forever.
Reminder, Phil surprised his wife in Paris with Beyonce. Babe, are you
Paris.
listening? Honey, my husband. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
I know, it's amazing. Okay, we gotta go.
Guys, thank you very much for Hal Solomon, Catherine Rampell.